Hey, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. For this week's reading, I'm going to be using the Modern Love Tarot by Ethony Dawn. All right, so I'm uploading this video a day early. Normally I upload on a Friday, but it's Thursday today, and I'm doing that because I want to let you know about my tarot or my YouTube live tarot event that's happening tomorrow on Friday at 12 noon Pacific time. So during that YouTube live, I'm going to be sharing my number one tarot tip, my number one tarot secret with you. I'm going to open the floor to Q&A, and I'm also going to be doing some free one-card tarot readings for anyone who wants one. So it's going to be really fun. Happens tomorrow, Friday the 13th at 12 noon. So I hope to see you there, and I'm going to put the link to that event just below this video. So let's start with the first card, Queen of Swords. Okay, so this is for the beginning of the week, so Monday and Tuesday. And here we have the Queen of Swords, and I just want to look at her a little closer. Okay. Interesting. All right. So what's interesting about this card is the Queen of Swords to me represents clarity and getting clarity and having a clear mind and being very clear and forthright in the way that you communicate with others and the way that you take action and live your life. But with this card, it's kind of interesting because she's a little bit murky. She's kind of in the shadows, in the darkness, and things are kind of dark. What I'm getting from this card is that the beginning of the week, things may be not that clear to you. Things may be a little bit fuzzy, a little bit murky, a bit cloudy, and you may be struggling to get a sense of clarity. And so this is where tapping into your inner Queen of Swords is going to be really, really valuable to you at the beginning of the week. So the Queen of Swords encourages you to tell the difference between what is important information and what is just a distraction. You know, what are the facts? What do you need to know? She encourages you to pay attention to the facts and what you need to know and focus on what needs to be done rather than all this extra crap that kind of gets in the way and can distract you, suck your energy, and kind of throw you off course. She encourages you to speak with clarity and be direct when you're communicating with other people, and even when you're kind of communicating with yourself. Say what you mean and don't beat around the bush, and just be direct and to the point. Ask for what you want, say what you mean. You know, don't try to be flowery and and super sensitive with your wording all the time, if that just creates confusion. Like, I don't know if you've ever had the experience of talking to someone and they want to tell you something, but they're kind of worried that they're going to offend you. And so they're sort of like beating around the bush and they're phrasing things a certain way, and you're just like, oh my God, just say it. Just say whatever you want to say. Like, stop covering this sentence in bubble wrap for me. Like, just get it out. So the Queen of Swords is saying, you know, being more direct, and that sword she's carrying, that's like her tool to cut through the illusion, cut through the red tape, to really get to the heart of the matter, and really figure out, okay, what's important here? What's the goal? What's really important? What is on her crown? I have to look at this. I think it's a rose. Okay. Let's have a look at the middle card. This is for the middle of the week, so like Wednesday, Thursday-ish. And here we have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Seven of Pentacles says, be patient. you're on a journey. This is a process. You're not supposed to have it all done and all figured out this week. So be patient and know that the things that you're putting effort into will eventually bear results. And a lot of the change and the growth that's happening happens under the surface and isn't always obvious. So this is just a reminder to, stay positive, stay strong, don't lose hope yet. And patience is going to be a virtue for you this week. The more patient you are, the better. The less you rely on getting instant results and pats on the back, the better off you will be. The more self-sufficient you can be this week, the better. Let's move on to the end of the week. So when we get to the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday-ish, we have 9 of Wands. Oh, I love this card. Oh, okay. So these kids are fighting and the mom is just like, oh God, like, it looks like she has a headache and she's like, oh, I can't deal with this right now. Interesting. Okay. So the 9 of Wands, normally I would interpret the 9 of Wands a certain way, but with this card, I'm going to interpret a little bit differently. The nine of Wands typically has to do with putting up walls and sort of the need for boundaries and the need to feel safe, and that challenge between putting up healthy boundaries and not having those boundaries be super rigid or be like walls that block you from having full experiences and block you from connecting with people. So I do see this as being about the struggle to maintain certain boundaries. I think that that's going to be something that comes up this weekend, is when someone violates your boundary or pushes your buttons, it can be super frustrating and very triggering. Like, do you know when you get like really angry about something and you're like, this actually isn't that huge of a deal, but I'm really mad about it? That's usually because there's a boundary that's being crossed, and so it feels like a bigger deal than it should. So it's not just the issue at hand, it's also that you feel like you're being trampled on. And so the challenge with the 9 of Wands is about having healthy boundaries and maintaining those boundaries without losing your cool, I guess. Without losing your cool and without those boundaries becoming so rigid that it stops you from being able to see eye to eye with someone and to be able to connect with someone and negotiate things. So that's what I get with the 9 of Wands, is that it's okay to negotiate some of your boundaries if it feels good for you. You don't have to be so rigid in them. And I do feel like this card has to do with interpersonal communication. And it's interesting that we have the Queen of Swords at the very beginning. And I said with her, she's all about being clear and to the point, especially where communication is concerned. And then we have the 9 of Wands where things are just going to shit here. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes that happens and you can come back from that. So I think that there may be a tendency to want to fight and bicker this weekend with your partner or whoever's in close proximity. There may be a tendency for that. And just notice if you're getting really hot under the collar and really riled, it may be because there's a boundary that is being pushed and maybe even trampled upon. And so I think awareness is going to allow you to be cool and calm and collected like the Queen of Swords. All right, so let's look at all 3 of these cards. It's interesting. We've got swords, we've got pentacles, and we've got wands here. So we have a nice mix. We've got a 7 and a 9 and a queen. And I do feel like relationships are going to be a big theme this week. With the Seven of Pentacles, we see a supportive relationship. And with the Nine of Wands, we see more conflict. And keep in mind that that supportive relationship and that conflict can exist with the same person. It can exist within the same relationship. And really, I think your biggest asset this weekend is going to be channeling your inner Queen of Swords. And I think clarity is your friend this week. And ask yourself, what kinds of things help you get clarity? Because I think to be prepared for the week is going to be helpful. So I know myself, what helps me get clarity is sitting and journaling. If there's something that I'm confused about or that's bothering me, if I sit and write about it for a while, that usually brings clarity. Sometimes I incorporate my oracle or tarot cards. Sometimes I don't. But that for me helps me get clarity. But you might have a different process. So be forewarned that you may need to draw upon those skills of getting clarity. And once you have clarity, you can speak with more authority. And you can define your boundaries, you can defend them, you can negotiate properly when you're clear on things. Okay, so that's what I get from these 3 cards. By all means, feel free to share your own interpretations. If you notice something that I didn't notice, or if you have a different take, I'd love to hear your take in the comment section below. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. My name's Kate. You can check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com, to learn all about tarot reading. And feel free to give me a like and a subscribe to my channel. I post these videos every week, usually on a Friday. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.